the beautiful, the articulate, the gorgeous. She's Noni, everybody. Come on, Noni. Noni is this amazing gift to our church, full of life, full of fun. She's also an incredibly articulate radio DJ with the most beautiful radio voice. You'll hear her mornings, Good Hope FM, everybody. But she's so much more than that. She is somebody who's just got the passion for Jesus. She's got a love for people. And you're an absolute delight, Noni. And such a privilege to have you preach and share your heart and your life with us. So open up your heart, everybody. Here she is, the final one. Bring us home. It's Noni!
Thank you, Gabe. Good evening, church. So I'm actually going to share an entry from my Jesus journal, as I call it. So pardon me, I will be reading at some point. But yeah, the anchoring verse for me today is Jeremiah 29, verse 11, which reads, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future." So I've always known that God has had his hand on my life, and I thank my parents for that. They're actually here today. I was raised in a home where faith was foundational, and I knew that God knew my name. Not only because the Bible told me so, but because of the way that my parents named us. So I have two brothers, an older brother and a younger brother. The older one's here, the younger one's overseas. And my older brother is named Siyabonga, which means thank you, Lord. My name is Nongeba, the middle child, which means mercy. My youngest brother's name is Unati, which means Lord, you are with us. In a sentence, it means thank you, Lord, for your mercies, you are with us. So shout out to my parents. I think that's a testimony of grace, really. Grace is collaboration, God and the parents. So at 16, I chose to get baptized. I didn't do it because it was expected of me. I did it because I believed in a God I had seen show up in my life, and I believed in his goodness, and I genuinely wanted to follow him. So throughout school, university, my early career, I've always remained focused. I worked really hard, I achieved quite a bit, and I pursued my passions. And I was blessed to be surrounded by people who genuinely loved me and just supported me throughout. I also prayed boldly, right? Asking God to fulfill my dreams, which are kind of crazy, desires as well, such as granting me university scholarships so that my parents wouldn't have to carry the financial burden, as well as asking for the strength and confidence to enter a massive radio competition that would ultimately turn my dream of being on commercial radio into a reality. So he answered all of those faithfully in ways I never could have imagined. So I've just seen his hand in every step of the journey. But then I turned 25. I think this is when I hit my quarter-life crisis, as I call it. I started to question everything. Like, I started feeling stuck and unmotivated. I started feeling like I was drifting. And even in my passion, which is radio, I felt like I was pouring everything in and getting absolutely nothing back. And around the same time, it was contract negotiation season. Things didn't go my way, and my confidence took a hit. And then my gogo, my grandma, the love of my life, my prayer warrior, our family's matriarch passed away. And then more family members followed. And as an empath, I carried every single loss quite deeply. And for a very long time after that, I just felt far from God. In fact, I remember I was at a work event, and one of my friends was like, "Noni, are you okay? It looks like someone took your spark away." And I think that's when it clicked that my faith was under pressure. And then late last year, I actually just told myself that I couldn't stay in that place. I wasn't going to stay stuck, and I wasn't going to let life, my career, loss, or confusion pull me away from the one I had known since childhood. I wanted to pursue Christ intentionally, to find peace in the chaos and just hear his voice loudly again. And then a few months down the line, I was looking for a new church home. And around the same time, I reconnected with my friend Ben. Over there. After like 6 or 7 years of like no communication and all. And then he told me about life changes. And then I visited the church a few times and I was like, I really like it here. But I think the selling point for me was the petting zoo and the carols. And then the cherry on top was the church's theme for 2025, which is Relentless Pursuit. And I was like, only God could orchestrate that. I knew then that this would be my new church home. It would be a place where I could rebuild my faith, rediscover my focus, and just find peace in the middle of all the chaos. And now I know that what the enemy wanted most wasn't my talent or opportunities. It was my focus. Because if he could take my eyes off God, then he could take my heart too. But today I'm standing here with a renewed focus, a heart that's healing, a faith that's been refined and continues to be refined daily. And I don't have all the answers, but I know who holds the plan. And I've finally reached the point where I've stopped trying to control the process. So my prayer now is simple. It's, God, help me stay in pursuit of you. Help me reflect your love so clearly that when people are searching for you, they don't have to look far. So if you're in that space, you're feeling stuck or searching, I just want to say that God doesn't need things to be perfect to be present. He's always working. And even when we don't feel him, he's there, weaving something up for our good. So yeah, also, God doesn't actually draft a new plan every time we get stuck because he's already factored in the detour, just saying. So yeah, hopefully Jeremiah 29 becomes more than just a memory verse for us all, and it just becomes an honest reminder of God's plan over our lives, as he clearly states, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Thank you.